no prophet whatsoever, old or new.
And this is where the problem comes in. You believe Isa alayhi salam is coming back.
Allowing even an old prophet to come, that still breaks your seal and your
Exactly.
finality of prophethood.
They take this to mean La nafiya lil jins. Now the question is, what do Ahmadi say that this means? La Nabiyya Badi.
So it's la nafiya lil kamal.
Right.
So it means kamal, i.e. of that status. La Nabiyya Badi, there will be no prophet after me. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said this in multiple occasions. It's mentioned in Sahih al-Bukhari. In all of our hadith literature, it comes multiple times. There will be no prophet after me. So Sunni Muslims and other Muslims, they question Ahmadi Muslims, and they say, how do you believe in a prophet after the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam?
Okay. Sunni Muslims have a lot of answering to do first, because they're going to realize that they shoot themselves in their own foot when they take the meaning of La Nabiyya Ba'di, that there is no prophet after me, to believe that no prophet in any capacity whatsoever, right? And the reason for this is that La Nabiyya Ba'di, the Arabic grammar of this is extremely important to understand. They take this to mean, our non-Ahmadi Muslim brothers and sisters, La nafiya lil jins. There's different types of la nahiya, la taktub, la nafiya as well. Okay, when you're negating something. So they say this is la nafiya lil jins. For example, ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ. This is the book, the Quran, which has no doubt in it. No doubt whatsoever.
No doubt of any kind.
Of any kind.
Yeah.
So they say La Nabiyya Ba'di is the same category in Arabic grammar. La nafiya lil jins.
Right.
They are negating a whole category. So all prophets in any capacity, by the way.
Okay,
this is what it has to mean.
Okay.
All prophets, if we're taking this to mean La nafiya lil jins, Ahmadis believe this is not La nafiya lil jins, and then we will explain that later. So they're saying no prophet whatsoever can come back.
Okay,
now.
so let me just get this straight. When they say La Nabiyya Ba'di, they mean no prophet whatsoever, old or new, right?
Exactly.
When they say this, that's essentially what they mean, right?
They have to take that into consideration.
Course,
they don't say it because the issue now comes in. They say this is La nafiya lil jins. This is, we're negating a whole category of people, and that is prophethood. And this is where the problem comes in. You believe Isa alayhi salam is coming back. And we know from the Sahih Hadith that he will be a prophet, right? And we're gonna get to what they say to that. But so the argument of, oh no, he was an old prophet, they'll say to this, no, he was an old prophet, is redundant now. Why? Because you are accepting La Nabiyya Ba'di means La nafiya lil jins, which is negating the category of any kind of prophet. So it doesn't matter if he's old, if he's new, if he's in the capacity of a prophet, if he's in the title of a prophet. Because they say all these things. No. Isa is going to have the title of prophethood, but he won't be a prophet. He's going to have, the capacity of prophet. I don't even know what these things mean, first of all. Like, it's just this vague interpretation. So it doesn't matter, capacity, title, old, new. If you believe this to be la nafiya lil jins, that you are negating a whole category, and that is prophets. It doesn't matter if you say he's old or new, or, as a Sunni, you can't accept that Isa's going to come back and that he will be a Nabi.
So that makes perfect sense. They say that this is La nafiya lil jins. Okay, fine. If it is La nafiya lil jins, then it can't be even an old prophet, which is Hazrat Isa alayhi salatu wasalam. So some people, they actually say, to wiggle out of this, they say that Hazrat Isa, Prophet Jesus, when he comes back, he won't be a prophet. Hold on a second, he won't be a prophet.
Yeah, he won't be a Nabi anymore.
Yeah, he won't be a Nabi. Now, that clearly does not make sense. I'll just give you 3 very quick reasons as to why it does not make sense, right? In the Quran, he was called Rasulan ila Bani Israel, a prophet sent to the Bani Israel. If he comes back and he's not a prophet, what happens to this verse? Now, to this, they say it abrogates the verse. Yeah. That's a whole other conversation, right?
But they actually say that.
They actually say that.
This verse of the Quran will be abrogated.
Will be abrogated.
Is insane.
Okay, fine. Yeah. Second one. In Sahih Muslim, which is a very, very credible book of Ahadith, the Holy Prophet Muhammad ﷺ calls Hazrat Isa a Nabiullah, the latter day Jesus, who will come back. He calls him a Nabiullah Isa 4 times.
And that hadith is also describing the second coming. It's a long hadith, And it's talking about Hazrat Isa coming back.
Exactly.
And it's saying Nabiullah Isa, Nabiullah Isa, Nabiullah.
Yeah.
The Prophet ﷺ is making a particular point of saying Nabiullah Isa.
Yeah. So that makes it very clear that he will be a prophet.
Yeah.
And that's from Prophet Muhammad saying it. That's not even us. The third thing, when God gives someone a blessing, prophethood is the highest level of blessing. He will never take that away from someone until and unless they do something wrong to deserve that. The Quran very clearly said, ذَلِكَ بِأَنَّ اللَّهَ لَمْ يَكُ مُغَيِّرًا نِعْمَةً أَنْعَمَهَا عَلَىٰ قَوْمٍ حَتَّى يُغَيِّرُوا مَا بِأَنفُسِهِمْ. In a nutshell, what that means is that Allah does not change the state of a person. He will not change the blessing that He has given someone. And prophethood, we know, is the highest blessing until they do something to deserve that, until they change their own state. So Prophet Jesus, we know, he was a pious prophet. He was an amazing prophet. And he lived his life as a prophet. He didn't do anything to deserve that prophethood being stripped away from him.
And again, this is just some of the ulama trying to wiggle out of this very strong argument which Ahmadis give.
Yeah.
That if this is La Nabiyya Badi, this is La Nafiya lil Jins, and it's negating a whole people, then how on earth are you bringing Hazrat Isa back? Because he will be a Nabi. So they'll say, no, he's not a Nabi.
Yeah.
But again, it's not the majority
It's not
of
the majority,
scholars.
of course, the majority, they believe this is La Nafiya lil Jins.
Yeah.
To that, we put forward this argument,
Yeah.
to which, to be honest, they don't have anything to say. Because they're believing an old prophet will come.
And to everyone listening, I genuinely want to listen to a response to this. Like, I would love to hear, because I've seen a lot of people attempt to answer this, but again, it's just wishy-washy stuff. Like, he won't be given prophethood again, but none of those arguments matter. They're all redundant, because La Nabiyya Badi, according to Sunni ulama, is La Nafiya lil Jins, which means no one, old, new, title, whatever you want to say, any kind of prophet cannot come now, according to them, that is.
Okay.
Right? According to others. So now the question is, what do Ahmadis say that this means, La Nabiyya Badi? One thing to clarify is that yes, Ahmadis do not believe any prophet now can come to bring a new Sharia who will be outside of the Sharia of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, or who will be an independent prophet, meaning that he got prophet separate from Rasulullah, prophethood. So that's another podcast. We'll talk about that what was the nature of the prophethood of Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad alayhi salam, because it's not what most Sunni Muslims think. But so what then does La Nabiyya Badi mean?
Okay, that's a very good question. What do Ahmadis believe La Nabiyya Badi to mean?
Yeah, and grammatically.
Grammatically, yeah. I'll give the answer in the words of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said La Nabiyya Badi in multiple occasions, right? Now, I'll go to a hadith in Sahih Bukhari, Sahih al-Bukhari, which is As-Sahul Kutub Ba'da Kitabillah, the most authentic book after the Holy Quran. He actually said, إِذَا هَلَكَ كِسْرَ فَلَا كِسْرَ بَعْدَهُ وَإِذَا هَلَكَ قَيْسَرَ فَلَا قَيْسَرَ بَعْدَهُ. That when the Khosrows of the time, when he perishes, when he dies, when he's no more, there will be no other Khosrows after him. And when Caesar passes away, there will be no other Caesar like him. Now, of course, historically speaking, we know that when the Caesar and the Khosrows of that time, when they passed away, of course, there were Caesar and Khosrows afterwards. So the same meaning in La Nabiyya Badi is the same meaning here.
So what would it be then?
Yeah, so it's La Nafiya lil Kamal.
Right.
So it means Kamal, i.e. of that status. So La Nabiyya Badi, there will be no prophet after me of this status. We know that he was Afdalur Rusul. He was the best prophet.
He brought the last Sharia.
He brought the final Sharia. He brought the last Sharia. So he was saying that there will be no prophet of this status and of this stature.
Yeah.
Now this hadith that I just gave you from Sahih al-Bukhari, the same thing. There will be no Caesar of that status. There will be no Khosrows of that status. Now here, I just want to say one thing. This is not something we're making up. We're not sitting here making this up. Even Sahih al-Bukhari, Imam Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani, he has done the tafsir, the shara of this, Fathul Bari, right? And in that he says, I'll actually just read it out. When he explains this hadith, he actually says, معناه فلا قيصر بعده يملك مثل ما يملك هو. Who, basically. So he says that there will be no, after Caesar, there will be no Caesar after him who will king or who will rule in the same way that he did. In that same way, with the same power, with the same status.
And these are the words of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Exactly.
And he's used it in both instances, right?
Yeah.
Another instance, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, again, this is from Sahih al-Bukhari, said, La hijrata ba'd al-fath. That there is no hijrah again after Fathul Makkah, right? And so people were like, that was the final hijrah? No, we know that even the Quran talks about hijrah, right? We know there was hijrah that happened after that to different lands. The concept of hijrah continues to this day in Islam. Imam Razi, in his tafsir of this, in his sharah of this hadith, he says that this hijrah, because obviously it makes, someone would question, wait, there's more hijrahs after this, right?
Yeah,
but he says in the sharah of this hadith that this is al-hijrah al-makhsusa. This is that special hijrah which was during the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which the Muslims were making from Mecca to Medina, right?
Again, status.
Exactly. It's talking about the hijrah of that level will never happen again. But we know hijrah does continue. So these, are other examples of understanding La Nabiyya Badi, that there is no prophet after me to my status, and no one who's going to change this sharia at all. And so that makes sense, because we know now Isa alayhi salam is going to come, right? Obviously, Ahmadi say that he's died and the prophecy meant something else. But, that's a discussion for another day. So, La Nabiyya Ba'di, meaning that, there is no prophet to my status after me, that allows someone else to come who can, who will, in fact, claim that element of Nabuwah, which is being an ummati as well, being within the fold of Islam, and which Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad alayhi salam did. But with the Sunni element, the mainstream Sunni, you can't allow an old Isa to come back and for him to claim or even be or have the title or be in the capacity of any kind of Nabuwah. It doesn't matter if he's old.
Essentially what that does is Khatam Nabiyyin, they say that is the final prophet. Allowing even an old prophet to come, that still breaks your seal and your finality of prophethood, because you're still allowing an old prophet to come.
So, on this Ramadan, they also say, okay, Khatam, we say this is the seal, right? And they accept that because it's very hard to wriggle out of that. They say, no, there's another reading, Khatim an-Nabiyyin, and that we Ahmadis accept that as well. And that is Ism Fa'il, the person who's putting the Khatam on, the seal on. And they say, look, he's closed the letter. So it means the final. Then you can't allow an old Nabi Isa to come out of that letter again. Do you get it? So even with Khatim an-Nabiyyin and their understanding, the Sunni mainstream understanding of Khatim an-Nabiyyin, there is no prophet whatsoever, then how on earth are you bringing Isa back? Because Khatim an-Nabiyyin, according to your understanding, also negates any old prophet to come.
Right. So the reason why they get into this difficulty, this quagmire, whatever you want to call it, right, is because they are trying to ascribe the meaning, one meaning out of many, La Nafiya lil Jins, they are trying to force it onto this. When in reality, La has many different meanings. As you mentioned at the start, La Nahiya, La Nafiya lil Jins, and there's La Nafiya lil Kamal. We're saying here it is more befitting La Nafiya lil Kamal because there are so many other examples. It was a way of speech, it was a way of speaking. And we find this, the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he has used this expression and way of speaking many times, as we just mentioned.
Exactly.
So it's not something that we're making up. Rather, we find it in the books of Hadith, and it makes more sense.
Just to finish off, again, everyone who's watching, comment below. How are you allowing an old Nabi to come in whatever capacity, that's Isa, when your Sunni ulama accept that La Nabiyya Ba'di means La Nafiya lil Jins? No prophet in any capacity of any kind can now come back. This is the Sunni understanding, not the Ahmadi understanding. Please reply below in the comments.